Abandoned railways, abandoned canals, restoration. What more could you ask for? Keep watching. This is a Nottingham canal, and it's only the first of the 3 canals we're going to be on today in a very, very short period. And this is an abandoned canal. It's never going to be restored and plays a very small part in the story of today's restoration. This kind of goes in this tree line just over here. It's completely lost. There are signs of it hidden away if you look hard enough, but it was filled. It was abandoned in, I think it's 1937, and there was no real need for it, which you'll find out in a second. And then we immediately come on to the Erewash Canal, which is just here, look. Now we take a walk up the Erewash Canal to the Cromford Canal. And the Cromford Canal, when it was first conceived, scared the people of Nottingham because they knew that all the coal up there would be brought down and would potentially put risk on the collieries in Nottingham. And they were also worried because the Erewash was there, and the Erewash could charge whatever they liked. So you've got the River Trent kind of behind us. It's about 11 miles, I think, in that direction, and that joined into sort of Nottingham and the canal network in that area. And they knew all the traffic coming from Cromford on the end of this canal through here could be charged tolls. So it would damage the coal industry in Nottingham and potentially cost a lot more to bring the coal down. They were held at ransom by the Erewash. So they devised their own canal, which was to run almost parallel to this. It kind of goes up through the same area, joins the same river a bit further down, and joins the same basin up ahead. What didn't help the Nottingham at the end was the Erewash Canal was purchased by the Grand Union in 1932. So this is, I think, the most northern point of the Grand Union. They had quite a big revival then, because it is a broad canal in transportation of coal, so they actually did quite well out of it. It was abandoned from a branch a bit further down, the Nutbrook branch, and there was a group set up in 1968 to restore this. So in 62 it was classed as unnavigable, and then in the 1980s it was upgraded from a remainder to cruising status. And this is the end of it now. So up here you then have the Cromford Canal, which starts from the Great Northern Basin, and you can see actually just over there there's a little sign, Cromford Canal 1794, engineered by William Jessup and Benjamin Outram, both heavily involved in the canal constructions all across the country. So here is the last lock, or the first lock, whatever you want to call it. So this is the Great Northern Basin up ahead, and this was very, very busy in its time. So you had the Erewash coming from underneath that bridge. Over there you have a little basin, which was the Nottingham Canal, and that was the end of it there, look. And in that direction you had the Cromford Canal, which fed right up through the Beggerlea Tunnel to Cromford Wharf, as well as sort of branches off on the Pinkton Arm. I can't really think of any other areas where you have these sort of doubled up canals. It was very big in the railway era, where sometimes you'd have 2, 3, 4 more sometimes railways operating the same routes. And the reason for that was partly due to the canals, in fact, because the canals kick-started the Industrial Revolution and goods needed to be moved, and everywhere the canals went, industry thrived and grew up everywhere. When the railways came along, that industry was already there. So the railways had a really good start. They had that kick-start with the industry already there that the canals didn't have. Maybe if the railways hadn't come along, we may have seen more sort of doubling up canals like this. And this is partly what led to all the doubling up, is people wanted to get goods into their area, people wanted to be able to move around on this new, faster experience. Lots of railway companies tried to get in on the action, so they built lines into the same area, and it was quite easy at this time to get a route through. You had to have an Act of Parliament, but if you had enough money, it was done. We come up a little bit from the basin, and as you can see, it's a very, very busy mooring area and yard, and I'm not too sure what happens when the next stage of the restoration happens on the Cromford Canal, which is just up ahead. It actually surprises me with how flat the land is up here. It's an old industrial area, had a lot of railways and collieries feeding down into wharfs and stuff here. That this hasn't actually been developed as a larger marina. At the end of the Erewash, it could probably make quite good money. You're in a built-up area, so there's plenty for people to do here as well, so it's a good destination. So this is the current terminus of the canal, and as you can see, there's a wall going through there, and then that opens up into a canal down through there. And this is what we've come to see. This is Beggerlea, and this is much clearer than the last time I was here. So this runs up now into a planned double lock just up ahead. That double lock wasn't original, that's a new build. So the next stage is to dig this section, take this kind of partially restored section here, take it up through here and take it to the locks, which is up near where that little orange cabin is over there. So the volunteers have spent the last few months all over winter clearing this area because of these self-seeding trees, which are a nightmare, to be honest with you. They're not really that great for the ecosystem. What they do when they cut them is that they leave quite a bit of the trunk in, as you can see, and that's so they can tie them and pull the roots out, because they don't want any of those roots left, because it will just re-sprout otherwise. So these can all be cleared. They can't do this obviously in the spring because of bird nesting season, so they had to get it done over the winter. This area was crisscrossed by railways, and what they're actually doing is where the mainline railway ran across just over there, it ran across the sidings which came in through here, and that bridge was an old railway underneath, and they're going to use that bridge to take the canal under.
Hi, so I'm Dave Martin. I'm currently the chairman of the Friends of the Cromford Canal, and today we're here with the Northern Canals Association down at Beggerlea, the Beggerlea extension, which is an extension project we've been working on for the last 5 years, and it involves a couple of staircase locks and an aqueduct through this bridge behind me. It's a legacy bridge from Moor Green Colliery, which was closed in 1984, and the railway line used to bring coal through to the Midland Main Line behind us in Langley Mill. The reason for going under the bridge is obviously because we can't go anywhere else through the embankment for the A610, so fortunately for us the bridge is here. And the reason we have 2 staircase locks is because when we go underneath this bridge behind me, we have to basically build a concrete caisson like an aqueduct, so that we don't interfere with the foundations of the bridge.
Part of the work last year was kind of a nature channel and a drainage and all that lot. So they finished these pipes down here. These are the outlets, look, you can see, and they come from various places, including that sort of big manhole there. They needed to get those pipes below this level because the canal, I think the canal bed is roughly where we are now. One thing that was found when this was all being dug out was possibly the side of a bridge here. Now they had the railway going over the canal just here. The wharf was kind of just in behind here and various other buildings around here, and the digger caught some just on the edge just as they were going here. Luckily it wasn't in the way, so they didn't have to sort of dig it all out. There were several bridges in this area. These are the railway tracks, look, so you would have come from the bridge behind me here and straight down through here, and these tracks are still in place. This bridge would have then carried a railway across, and I think this road bridge was always a road bridge on this side, on the right hand side. So this is the old railway route then across the Erewash River. This has been cleared. This, you couldn't come on this last time, so this is pretty cool. You can actually still see old coal and stuff down in there all through here, and a bit of ballast as well. So let's talk to George Rogers. He is part of the Waterway Recoveries Group, and they have done loads of work here. A lot of this stuff behind us was done by them because it's heavy work. They come in and they do those big projects.
So we're standing on one of our projects from last year, one of the Waterway Recovery Group's projects from last year. So this is helping out the Friends of the Cromford Canal with their Beggerlea extension. This is some of the enabling works that was required. So 2 large drains that come off from the embankment behind us. And hopefully later this year we will be coming back to do some more work on this site. We'll be looking at bringing the actual, I think doing the first section of the extension coming up from Langley Mill, coming up towards this. We won't quite get this far, but hopefully about another 30 metres or so of channel later this year. So Waterway Recovery Group, it's a part of the Inland Waterways Association. We're sort of essentially the national group of volunteers that come out and help all the local societies where they want it. This year we're working on about 10 different sites, and you can find out a lot more information on that on the website. The camps are now open for booking for this summer. They're week-long camps. You can work with people from 18 to 80 and just have a great time.
And they needed to compensate for the loss of floodplain here. So this is what this area is here. So they've got the drainage going down through. It connects into the river Erewash, which is just down there, and allows like a floodplain. This will turn into a lovely little wetlands in time as well. This is the remains of an old lock down here. We found this on my last visit. I was here just as they exposed it, and you can see the lock would have been on this side. That's the coping stones across the top there, and the support wall there for the lock. So the old canal would have run directly up ahead.
Obviously a lot of people don't put much weight on membership of a canal society nowadays, but you can make yourself a member on www.cromford.org.uk. Getting a membership numbers up, obviously it lends us weight to when we're trying to find funding for the canal, and you get 4 portal magazines a year, which keeps you fully updated with what we're on with.
So please click that like and subscribe. There's a huge chunk of you that don't actually subscribe, and it'd be great to have you along. I'm doing more videos now. I do a weekly update video as well, so you will get notified if you click that subscribe button. Please do. Have a great day.